So you've been a black belt for how many years? 16?
16.
16 years. All right. And then you met George in 97?
97, I think.
Where at?
That's when he was teaching at Brown's. The Brown Institute. Or
Brown Institute?
Yeah,
What city was that in?
It was in Centerville.
What belt was he?
He had like a 4-stripe blue belt on or something.
He was a 4-stripe blue belt when you met him? A 4-stripe blue belt when you met him in 1997.
What made you go check out, like, what made you be like, man, I'm going to seek this out?
Well, I had already been there. I started his kickboxing he did, and then at grappling class, and being kind of ex-wrestler in high school, I was like, ooh, I'm going to do that. So it was basically just a bunch of ex-wrestlers in class grinding on each other and squeezing necks. Like,
in George's class?
Nah, he wasn't there yet.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing that for about a year before, and then I just played basketball every single day.
You're a hooper, dude?
I was a hooper. I was a baller.
I can't imagine you hooping it up.
I was a pretty decent basketball player.
Were you?
Yeah.
All right.
But then you just gotta remember, it was like 100, this height, 135 pounds.
Right.
A little bit different body shape. Now I would just post people up with my ass and drop step them.
That's right.
But
a power player now.
So yeah, we would do. I did that class for a year, and it was basketball. It was kind of like heavy league time, so I was playing leagues every day. So I wasn't doing the kickboxing or whatever. My little sister was still there, and she was like, "Hey, there's some Brazilian dude teaching here now. There's 2 Brazilians." And I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna go tap him out." It was like my thought process behind it, like Billy Badass. And then so I go, and then like I think like legitimately like the first like month I was there, he'd never even talked to me. He didn't say one word to me, anything. And then probably after about like a month, he finally like rolled with me. And I don't know, I probably got guillotined and fucking armbarred 1,000 times. I don't know. Just way too aggressive driving forward like a foolish young man.
And he knew what he was doing a little
Yeah,
bit.
for sure.
Yeah.
So then I was like, but a bit like, I guess at that time I had some grappling experience. So I basically became like his full-time training partner at that point, because he didn't have really anybody to roll with. And then we figured out he lived around the corner from me. So he lived like literally a 3-minute car drive. And we were in the same college, like same school and college, which didn't turn out well because, we skipped class and just went and trained. And then, well, I guess it did turn out well.
Yeah.
Turned out well for me, not for the college career. But
you guys both have successful gyms.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that point on, I was like, that was like kind of literally like the last time I ever even played like basketball.
Yeah.
I was like, because as soon as I said, like, oh, this is what I want to do, I was like, kind of get like fixated on it, and you're just like, everything else is out the window. No more the whole idea, like, oh, I might twist my ankle, I can't do jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
So I was like, well, if that's going to make you not play basketball, then like, just probably wasn't your thing. Let's stick to jiu-jitsu.
Well, found something you love doing, and you made it a career ever since. Here it is, 2020, so 23 years later.
Yeah.
So like how many people were in those classes at that time? You guys were like what, like up on the upper floor of...
No, that was in Beachmont. That was Cherry Grove.
Ah, damn.
That was a different one.
Old school.
Yeah, that's when I was a blue belt. So at first it was just browns, and then we trained, and probably at the height of whatever we put together there, it was like 12 hard-ass dudes. Legit. We only had like 2 tournaments a year, and like, I think we had like, there's one Fayetteville Open, like where town area. Like, I don't have a map on me right now, I couldn't pull it out, but so Fayetteville Open in Ohio was like, I think they would do this twice a year. And then at the time, then Helson had a tournament, like a pretty big tournament in Columbus, which, but it was like, we would go in 12 people, It was like 12 gold medals, like every, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like fucking Fight Club. It was hard. And then, I mean, the calisthenics, like the warm-ups, and people, like, you know how bad my warm-ups were back in the day. And it was like, but I learned that.
Hey, you have motherfuckers quitting the gym.
Yeah. Warm-ups weren't open until somebody puked, and I got sick joy out of that. But, I mean, that's what it was like, man. And then then we moved from, man, it was probably a purple belt. We moved from browns. So I was like white, blue, like the whole time we were at browns, and then I got promoted to purple, like literally like the week of Pan Am's. So I'm like, man, dude, really? Like, come on, Marcus, like that's not even cool, yeah, like. But it was like, because I was like, oh, I'm going to have a chance to, like, you know, by that time I was like, I could win, I'd definitely win Pan Am's at blue belt, you know. I was like, I got this. So I was like super pumped. I'm going to Pan Am, I'm going to win. And like, they had, like, Marcus comes into town doing a seminar with George, and then, like, they're like, and I'm like, get promoted, and I'm like, God, I'm like, it's a week before, we couldn't do it, like, after Pans, you know.
How much oversight did Marcus have at that point?
It was George's team, but I mean, you know, Marcus, you know, had the seniority or higher rank, so like he was boss. But like it was never like one of those things where like Marcus, like it was always George's team, and you know, like really at the time, you know, who gets promoted or what's going on, like that was, I mean, it was always just George. So like Marcus was like a lot of times it was more like I'm almost like he was like a bigger brother friend, you know, type person. So, but it was cool. It was fun to roll with, fun to train with. But yeah, so they do that to me. I mean, I think I still managed to win like 3 matches that year and missed gun. I think on the medal round. Like, I think that year I got screwed. Yeah, got screwed by the refs pretty good that year. Dude was on his cell phone in the middle of my match the whole time. Like, swept this motherfucker twice, and he swept me once, and I'm like, I'm winning 4-2. Like. And they scored it 2-0. I'm like,
Brazilian.
yeah, I mean, it was whatever. It was crazy because, you know, like you're doing it, and like it was like Laboria and Marcus, everybody, they were screaming, rah! And then you get, you know, yell at the ref, and like, the guy's just like, didn't see it. I'm like, no shit, you didn't see it. But I mean, I felt good though. After
what year was that? That Pans?
Maybe 2000.
What year you guys go to Middletown?
Huh?
What year did y'all go to Middletown?
Right, that would be that year, about 2000. Yeah.
Were you with George when you guys went to Middletown?
What year did you get your black belt?
04.
Then I didn't start until 04 because you were a black belt when I started.
I got May 22nd.
Yeah, you had just got promoted, and I only know that because when I came in, they were like, you know, my first few weeks, they were telling the story of like, George was telling somebody that if you had beaten such and such guy, shit, I don't know, this was years and years ago, but I remember hearing that story, like, he had told somebody that, you know, if John beats his dude,
like,
he's getting his black belt.
Yeah. I think at that point I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, like I really wanted, like looking back, I mean, I didn't get it then. Like I'd have liked to season that brown belt longer. Like,
how long were you a brown belt?
Wouldn't we all?
I don't know.
Think so, Jake?
Always.
But yeah, it is
So
what
that
it
was
is.
2000. You got your purple, so. There was 2 locations in Middletown, right? There was like the back.
Right.
There was like the back of that other
The
gym.
back end, because I had a hard time finding. I went to find it. It actually put my training off for a while. It was Kitty Hawk Plaza, remember? Kitty Hawk Plaza.
It was in. So that first place we had was in that strip mall was up top. It was all glass. It was actually a really cool school. I work on a lot with them, and so it was like all glass, and then like they were like kind of like half walls and like everything around, and then like there was the main mat area, and they had I'm pretty sure there's a workout room like plexiglassed off, like And it was like, you know, they went in painted flame. You know what I mean? It was like cool, like super cool back then. You know, well, they were there for quite a bit, and then they were like moving behind by McDonald's and like this old bingo. It was a bingo like hall room.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I started.
Yeah. So that's that's the second middle line. Yeah, it was the back of the park. Like you could never like. I mean, we'd get good turnout, but like, man, imagine trying to grow a business in
It was tiny.
like hidden spot, you know. But
Tucked
so
down off the road.
yeah, like
tucked
you
way
have
back.
to
Had
know.
that
Like,
nice hill we could sprint.
they're
though.
like, hey, there's
Yeah,
this,
Doofy used to make me sprint
Yeah.
that hill during Muay
I
Thai.
ran that thing
Oh,
backwards
Doofy.
a bunch.
But yeah, so that's when I moved there, and that location. That's what I got. That was like my purple, brown, black location.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where you started too. Right?
Yeah, I started there just before. Like,
What year was that?
I started in July 2006.
July 2006.
Yeah.
And
And it was the summer before.
You traded a Josh Sauter, a Harley
Dude,
Davidson for
I
Price.
traded. He traded me all kinds of cool stuff. Actually, I always gave him cash, but I always got such good deals because I had cash to give him. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was Heath. Heath got me into it, actually.
In July of 2006.
We were fans of MMA forever. I mean,
Sure.
we actually watched a bunch of the fights of the team, like Ice, the Metropolis. Like, we were there as fans for years. And then his sister actually got him.
You and Heath, yeah?
Yeah, and his sister, Leslie, got him a private just for his birthday one year. Went up to the gym, 'cause it was
Yeah.
the only MMA, or the closest MMA gym.
Yeah,
And I got him a private, and I think he went and took the private with Sauter.
of course.
Because that's the only person there, right? So Sauter got the private. And then Sauter, of course, convinced him to, hey, you should bring a friend. 'Cause
Yeah.
you guys are training together, right?
Sure.
And then Sauter don't have to actually
Yeah.
do anything, right? So he's like, would you want to go do it? And I was like, yeah. And dude, I was poor too, but it was like,
Yeah.
it'd be like week to week. That's why, Sauter would be like, hey, man, you can give me like $100. I'll give you 7 privates.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I needed $100 today.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right. And I had like $115, but screw it. I'd go to the ATM and get it. And then I did privates with him because I lived down at Hyde Park then. So it was like a long drive. I'd be up here and go to Middletown, so we'd go up there like once or twice a week. And then by January, that's when we moved to Cox Road,
Yeah.
or it was like right when we started opening.
Huge.
So then
you
that was
were
a lot
right
closer.
there before that?
Yeah, it was that close. It was only like 6 months.
So Sauter got you in July of 06, and he got me
Yeah.
in October of 06, because
Yeah.
I just got back from Iraq, and I drove from Fort Campbell up here on a Saturday, and Sauter met me at the door, and it was like we were best friends, man. Like, he had known me his entire, like, what's up, man? Come on in. His heavy West Virginia accent. I signed up that day, just like you did, man. And then we moved here in November of 06, and I signed up in Middletown, and when I moved back, the gym was on Cox Road, and that's when I met all of you dudes. And that's when our story started for me.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I became friends with Sauter, and that's how I got like. we
He's
hung
a
out
great
lot,
dude,
yeah.
man.
Went to a lot of fights.
Yeah.
Well, Matt,
lot
you
of
met
corners.
Rich overseas, right? And that's
I
what
did,
made you
yeah.
seek our gym
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I met Rich Franklin and Randy Couture and Rochelle Leah when they were on a USO tour of Iraq the summer of 2006 when I was there with the 101st Airborne Division. And I was so impressed with Rich and how he handled himself and just what a cool dude he was. He was just a down-to-earth guy. Like, he came in my room and like looked around. He's like, I can't believe you guys live in something this small, and just a real cool dude. And I was getting out of the Army at the time, and I was married, and I was emailing back and forth with my wife at the time. We're now divorced, but she was like, well, what are we going to do? Where do you want to, where do you want to move? And I just kind of jokingly said, well, I met Rich Franklin, and I like him a whole lot, and I was a huge fan of UFC as well. We all were. And I was like, I want to try to be an MMA fighter. And she said, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that answer. And she's like, well, where do you want to move? And like I said, I just met Rich a couple of weeks before, and I was like, how about Cincinnati, Ohio? And she's like, okay. So we moved here, and I signed up and walked in the gym, and that's how my story started, man. Meeting Rich Franklin in Tikrit, Iraq, the summer of 2006. It's pretty crazy.
So Souter came to us though, because I was technically at our school before Souter, but when he came, I think he was already a purple belt,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. He moved in with me.
Huh?
So,
What's
yeah,
that?
Yeah, he moved in with me.
you.
Oh, he
He
did?
came up from West
Oh
Virginia.
yeah, bro.
What year did Souter come up here from West Virginia?
Oh god, I don't even
Had he
remember.
trained with somebody out there? How
Yeah,
did
he trained at Ground Zero.
Yeah, he came up
The
under
affiliate
that
school.
West Virginia
Okay,
school.
yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first affiliate school ever, Georgia.
And he was a purple belt when he moved to Cincinnati?
Yeah, he was
Okay.
at purple.
Now, which one started? It was Tim or
Tim and Ashley
Tim,
Lockwood.
both together at the same time, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Well, yeah. Well, now let me think.
Did all those other dudes follow
Maybe-
Souter?
Yeah, like
They
that
all
was the
came up.
connection. They all like came back
Yeah,
up.
so-
Like,
Yeah,
Little
Sprout
D.
and
Sprout, all
everybody
those
came up
guys,
because of
yeah.
Souter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
get
I
good
remember we
opportunity
would
to
show
fight.
up,
Sure.
competitions, you would roll up, and we would show up, quote unquote, deep. We'd have 30 guys. Hell, I wouldn't know 10 of them.
Right.
And because
They're all
everybody was
West
from all
Virginia.
these affiliate schools.
Yeah.
That's how I met Hazlett, Souter. I met all those dudes just competing under the same team banner. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I would say, you know what? I bet you when Josh moved up, I was still a brown belt. So it had to be 2003
Yeah.
by my powers of deduction.
2003. And that's when the stream of West Virginia people
Yep.
came in and brought all those tough dudes from West Virginia.
Yeah, they came a lot.
Yeah.
That's all those guys. Sprout, Souter,
Dustin.
Hazlett, yeah. There were several others.
Jamie Tony.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Tony.
There's some tough dudes came up.
Remember we had a Jamie Tony and a Tony Jamie?
Yeah.
It's like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.